Hi, everyone, and welcome to the poster presentation. I'd just like to thank my collaborators before moving on. So activity tracking devices may increase or decrease physical activity motivation, and previous research has shown that wear time is important. Our study was based on the tenets of the self-determination theory, where physical activity motivation is on a continuum. And individuals may endorse many motivation regulations, which then create their individual motivational profile. Autonomous profiles have been related to higher physical activity among activity trackers in previous research, but whether or how motivation profiles cluster relate to physical activity and tracking frequency in young adults is unknown. So our objectives were to assess whether frequency of device use relates to weekly physical activity, and to assess whether motivation regulation profiles relate to frequency of activity tracker use and physical activity levels. So this was a cross-sectional study. We used the ENDIT database, which had 800 young adults, and you can pause to read our measures below. In terms of our first objective, we found that those who used their activity trackers weekly or daily had higher total levels of physical activity than those who used trackers sporadically or not at all. We had 4 different types of behavior regulations profiles that emerged, and you can pause to read them on the screen. And in terms of physical activity levels, those who wore the trackers frequently and who had the most self-determined profiles reported higher levels of physical activity. Interestingly, though, those with high external profiles, typically who would be less active, had higher levels of physical activity if they were wearing an activity tracker frequently. So what did we learn? We learned that daily and monthly trackers are more active regardless of their behavior regulation profile as compared to others in the same profile who don't wear trackers, even among the external profiles. Behavior regulation profiles relate to total physical activity minutes per week, but longitudinal studies are needed to examine the bidirectional nature of these associations and how activity trackers may support or hinder the levels of physical activity of the different profiles that emerged is warranted. Thank you so much for your time